Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC Fight Night back at the Apex for Emmett versus Murphy. Yes, decent main event here. I'll break down the main card like usual, provide free picks, leans, price talk, value, and more. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. You got updated records over there, resume, client opportunities, and much, much more. Thanks for listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And also, if you're still watching on YouTube, hello. I know the numbers are a little down on YouTube, but a lot of people have just moved over to Spotify and Apple. I guess it's a little easier to listen to, right? And at the end of the day, you don't really need to see me. This is an information podcast, free bets podcast, breakdown. So I get it. But if you are listening, hello, I'm here. Currently handicapping UFC 13-1 client run right now, guys. Average line plus 145. Right? These aren't minus 250, minus 300 like some jabronis you'll get out there. These are value lines. Don't throw big favorites. If I do, I parlay them together, get plus money. PGA, obviously always handicapping. Doing well in the prop market this year. Still trying to find a few more outright winners. We had one so far this year. Expect a few more coming up soon. In the NHL, nice 3-0 run here in the NHL. Very low volume in the NHL. I can go, a week or so or more without even betting an NHL game. I try to find spots. We had nice back-to-back plus money winners with Seattle and Edmonton the last couple days. Finding some more value towards the end of the regular season. I will be betting the NHL playoffs as well, so look out for that. We're 65% of the year at low volume. Very happy with that. Again, I pick my spots in the NHL. It's not my prime focus, right? It's like my fourth or fifth sport that I focus on. So always enjoy looking for NHL winners. I've been handicapping the NCAA tournament. I mentioned to you guys I will be. It's just been up and down. Some very minimal profit. I didn't expect to have a great tournament. It's just fun for me to try to do this. My first NCAA tournament I've been handicapping. Been following it a lot, so I do know, and I have been doing a lot of research. We have a couple pending bets for the Final Four. Get in on that action if you want those. Look out for my Masters podcast, guys. I did mention I'll be doing more podcasts. A few people asked for it. I enjoy doing them as well, so it only makes sense. So I'll be doing only podcasts for the PGA for major tournaments. Okay, so look out for that. Masters is coming early next week. I'll be doing a podcast audio only, guys. Keep that in mind. Audio only, right? Sometimes I'm on the road or whatnot, so it makes it easier for me to do audio only. I'll also do articles as well. Look out for some articles. I'll be doing articles for the Masters, NFL Draft as well. So look out for that. Let's do a quick UFC Mexico recap. And it was another great card for myself, right? Perfect on sides, on the Moreno side, and fight not to go the distance. That fight was never close to finishing. I expected that. Happy to see Moreno get his first win in Mexico City. He's won in Mexico before, but not Mexico City. Happy to see him get the win there. And he is the true number one contender, right? Continues to back-to-back big wins for him. Albazi and now Urseg. Nice win for Moreno here. Also cashed on 2 fight parlays, 2 of them. One at even money. The other one was actually a 3-fight. One dropped out, but we ended up hitting that. One was plus 155. So continue to hit these plus money winners, guys. And it's just lining up like that. I don't force these plus monies. It's just lining up as that, right? There's sometimes I might be betting more favorites on the card and trying to find outcomes maybe to get, a better price. But it's just been lining up like that. And the plus money winners have been cashing all year so far, guys. All year so far. And you got to be able to adapt, right? Earlier in the year, January, I believe, it was very up and down for me. I was missing on the underdogs. But as a handicapper, you have to be able to adapt to the circumstances of what's happening out there and finding sportsbooks' mistakes. And they have been throwing a lot of plus money out there that I see a lot of value on. I've been taking advantage of the sportsbooks' missed lines the past few months here. We're trying to catch that 21-2 UFC run from last year, right? Very difficult to get to that, especially at plus money. We are trying to catch that here, and we will continue to do so. We got some big pay-per-view cards coming up, guys. Very excited. That Miami card, wow. Also a nice UFC Kansas City card coming up at the end of the April here. Gary versus Pradas. Gary saved the day. Hats off to Gary. Yeah, he gets a lot of shit, but he's taking now another fight on short notice. I give the guy a lot of credit. Pradas, very dangerous guy. Didn't have to take this fight. You could say he's kind of moving back again in the rankings. But hey, hats off to Gary. I'm very excited for that fight. Can't wait to talk about that. And so, I'm leaning Gary early. I saw lines out. It's about even money. We'll talk about that here in the next coming weeks. Let's get right into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Shop around. Shop around. Like I always say, I have multiple sports books. Prices vary from book to book. Very important. Let's get into the main event here. Main event. We got Emmett. Emmett plus 250 versus Murphy minus 334. You know what I'm going to say here. There's value. Value alert. Value at plus 250 on Emmett. Even though I am leaning Murphy to win this fight. We'll talk about that here. But definitely value at this price. Am I running to the window to bet Murphy on minus 334? Definitely not, guys. You're going to have to find an outcome here. I could, I don't like it enough to throw it into a 2-fight parlay for this weekend. But hey, when I do my own lines, I had Murphy maybe 2-1 favorite, right? There's some concerns with him. He hasn't fought for a year and a half. Where has he been? I haven't really heard much, right? He came off a big KO against Bryce Mitchell. You thought he would want to get back in there, and he took a year and a half off, right? And he's 40 years old, right? Right, so you got Murphy, fighting the best as he has. Continues to win. Hasn't lost yet in his career. Right? But then you look at the Emmett side, the resume's night and day difference. Night and day difference. He's fought guys like Topuria, Yair Rodriguez, right? He beat Cater, he beat Mitchell, he beat Ige. Obviously, when he steps up in competition, he's not that level of fighter. He can't beat a Topuria, he can't beat a Rodriguez, he can't beat the best guys in this division. But if you get the middle tier guys, he wins. Is Murphy a middle tier guy or just below the best in this division? Right, Murphy's wins, let's take a look at it, right? Dan Ige and Barboza are his best wins. Good wins, not great wins, not top of the division wins. If he beats Emmett, this will be his best win on paper. The Barboza win was just 2 fights ago. And keep in mind, it's Barboza at the end of his career. Right, we do have to keep that in mind. But hey, I like Murphy. Well-rounded, has really improved his grappling and his wrestling. He can wrestle a little bit. He'll look for a takedown at times. The issue is his takedown defense, 48%. Now, it's a lot of that was earlier in the career. He has improved it from what I've seen on tape, guys. Right? So that 48% is a little deceiving. Yes, I give Emmett the wrestling advantage here. We just don't see Emmett wrestle a lot. He falls in love with his power on the feet, as you can see against Bryce Mitchell. And, that Bryce Mitchell knockout's going to be in the back of his head. And to strike with Murphy for 5 rounds, I believe that's not the right decision. That's not a good decision to strike with him for 5 rounds. I believe Murphy would win if it's just a kickboxing, boxing fight, because that jab that he uses, his speed on the feet. Right? If Emmett wants to win this fight, it has to be a mixed martial arts fight. He's going to have to mix in some takedowns. And we just haven't seen him do that as of late. He's older, right? 40. He can't wrestle. This is a 5-round fight. That does favor Murphy. But what I love about Emmett, very durable. He'll go in there and fight, throw for the fences. If he connects with one of those big shots, Murphy could be in trouble. But it's a lot of if, right? Murphy, I see a more clearer path. Keep the fight standing for the most part. Use your jab, use your speed on the feet, win a decision. That's what Murphy does, wins decisions. What is that, 4 straight fights won by decision? So yeah, that's the pass for Emmett. Emmett did say bet the house on him. He said that in an interview this week, guys. Bet the house on me. Now, obviously I don't take that into consideration. I could take that as he's very confident. He maybe sees something here. Is that path that he sees, let me wrestle and take this guy down? Let me use my durability. When this fight gets deeper, let me kind of take over the fight. Possibly. Again, there is value at this price at plus 250. Just because there's value, though, doesn't mean I'm going to bet it. If I do bet value lines, it's very lower units. And that's what I always suggest, right? If you see value at plus 250, like I said, I have Murphy. This is a Murphy minus 334. I cannot get to that price on Murphy, a minus 334. So I would have to try to find an outcome if I were going to bet it. You would have to look at Murphy by decision, right? He's very durable, Emmett. Very durable. But again, a few concerns with Murphy. The takedown defense. This is his best opponent that he'll be fighting. But he does have that advantage on the feet, which I like to see here. So yeah, Murphy will be the slight play. Value on Emmett. If you guys are betting Emmett at this price, or kind of doing an insurance bet on him for a smaller unit, I'm not going to call you crazy. I rarely use insurance bets. There could be something here that I use, especially if I shop around, even get something maybe closer to plus 300. Insurance bet may be an option here. Good fight, though. I'm excited to see how it goes. See if Emmett does use the game plan of wrestling and mix it up. Again, 5-round kickboxing fight. Murphy wins the fight. So let's see what Emmett's game plan is here. Love the confidence, though. Said bet the house, guys. Bet the house on Emmett. We'll see what happens. Co-main, Brito minus 225 versus Sabatini plus 187. Interesting one here. You know, Brito's coming off that tough loss versus Gomez. After being on a nice run in the UFC, right? Brito was climbing that ladder. And then Gomez put that to a halt. You know, Sabatini very up and down, win one, lose one. We know the path, right? This is a very straightforward handicap. Right? Sabatini wants to get this fight into his world, down to the ground and grapple, look for a submission or even top control. Brito, heavy hands, wants to keep it standing, wants to clip Sabatini. Right? You got the battle of the grappler. The guy wants to get the fight down to the ground to the guy that wants to hurt you on the feet. What will prevail, right? You'll have a big striking advantage here in this fight for Brito. And the takedown defense at 72% is solid enough. It's solid enough for me to say, oh, Sabatini's not going to ragdoll and be able to just get him down to the ground when he can. I don't believe that. Right, and that's why I do believe Brito is the rightful favorite here. Minus 225, you know, a little high. If you want to take a shot maybe on the outcome by finish, that could be a look here. Sabatini has been finished 3 times. His chin is questionable, and his stand-up's not great, guys. But again, it's going to come down to, can Brito keep this fight standing? That's what you're betting on here. And I can't tell you if he's going to be able to. But if you look at his history, 72% is solid enough to be fairly confident. Coming off a loss as well. I do believe he finds a way to win this fight. Is it going to make my client card? I don't believe so, but you never know, right? My client card comes out after weigh-in, so I'll be reviewing this a little more in depth. Love to see the weigh-ins on this one as well. Weird one here. Lee minus 138 versus Romeo's plus 110, guys. This is a fight that I'll be staying away from. I don't like flipping coins on fight. This is where you're getting here, right? I haven't seen these two fight enough either, to be honest. Right? They have one fight in the UFC each. Lee has won a split decision in his first fight. Romeo's lost his first fight. Romeo's, what I've seen from him, just very athletic. Right, so he could win fights being very athletic, but the skill's just not really there, very raw in my opinion. Lee is a guy, seems durable, likes to come forward, fun style fight. This could technically be a fun style fight, but you know, who's going to win is anybody's guess here, right? So when you have if you have to bet, if you like betting the whole card, or if you like betting value, yes, you can take Romeo's plus 110, right? If I had to bet this fight, it would be due to the price here. But you don't have to bet the fight, right? So I would be surprised if this fight makes my client card. I would say fade this one, stay away from this one. Something comes up last minute for me. It's possible, right? Again, that's where the client card comes into play. I have to watch weigh-ins, maybe a late interview, maybe something comes up right, between these fights before the fight. Can't give you that out on the podcast, right? I do this on Wednesday or Thursday, so only so much I can say before the fight. If something comes up, I may lean someone's way, but this is a fight you want to stay away from, guys. Kennedy minus 350 versus Budaj plus 275. Big price here. Heavyweights too, right? Yes, Kennedy has moved up the last few fights to heavyweight. Back-to-back wins too. Right? He had the speed, he has the reach usually up here. But if he gets into a fight with a guy that can really wrestle, I think he could be in trouble. Budaj doesn't though, right? The rightful favorite here should be Kennedy, not minus 350 in my eyes. It's a heavyweight fight. At the end of the day, Budaj has put together 4 wins in his last 5 fights, guys. He's finding ways to win fights. I don't think he's great, right? Not a guy I would want to bet on often. If you do want to bet on him, you want to bet on him at a price like this, right? Right, his wins are very low-level guys. His path to win this fight, definitely not stand at range with Kennedy. Kennedy will just pick you apart. He'll have a 6-inch reach advantage here as well. Budaj's path would be to try to make it ugly against the cage. Try to grapple. Try to get the fight down to the ground. We just don't see that from him, right? He likes to stand and box, and I don't think that's a good path for him. Right? You just can't bet Kennedy at this price, though. How do you bet him at this price? So you could take a chance on an outcome here, lean a finish, but I'm not running to the window on that. If you can get a good plus money price out there, sure. But again, 2 middle tier, low tier heavyweights going at it. You know my theory on that, right? Don't get involved too much. Don't get involved too much. If you do, take a shot on an outcome. Take a shot on the plus 275 of Budaj for a smaller unit. Minus 350 on Kennedy. You got to be for sure that he's going to win this fight. I'm not for sure he'll win it. Last one we'll talk about here, guys. Tavares, minus 225 versus Meerschaert, plus 187. Fun one. Fun one here, right? Between 2 vets, both 37 towards the end of their career. And listen to this. I don't like to throw the shade to them. I do like both these guys. But they have a combined 29 losses, guys. Right? You don't want to be known for that. Not something you want to be known for, but sorry, guys. I had to mention that Tavares has been fighting some of the best guys, though, so I'm going to cut him some slack. He's been fighting guys like Duplessis, the champion, Silva. Weidman he beat. Rodriguez and Park. 1-4 in those fights, guys. So, yes, I don't think he has a lot left, Tavares. Surprisingly, also his takedown you know what Tavares is always known for? That 80% takedown defense. But he's been taken down twice in both of his last 2 fights. Both guys can wrestle a little bit. Park, Rodriguez, decent wrestling. Right? Meerschaert doesn't really have that wrestling. If he gets the fight down to the ground, very dangerous. We know that. 29 submission wins, guys. Historic stuff. But Tavares, good submission D. Only been submitted once a long time ago. I don't see, Meerschaert getting that. I do have Tavares as a better striker on the feet, even though his speed has slowed down a ton. Not a lot of power. But he does find ways to try to win decisions, early in his career. That's how he kind of wins fights. So, slight striking advantage for Tavares here. Can point fight his way to win. I don't see him really finishing Meerschaert, right? We just don't see that a ton from Tavares as of late. It's just very difficult to bet Tavares at minus 225, guys, right? How can you bet him at this stage of his career against anybody? Against me, I wouldn't bet that 225, right? So if you can find an outcome here, maybe lean decision on Tavares. We just don't see him finishing guys as of late, so that is an option here. I just can't get too excited at this price. This is a fight more I'd like to enjoy and watch, right? Well, veteran guys towards the end of their career. Let's see kind of how it plays out here. But I do believe Gerald Meerschaert will struggle to get this fight down to the ground, and that's why I do believe Tavares will win this fight. If Gerald could get him in his world, it will be interesting. That will do it, guys. That will do it. I'm very excited for the pay-per-view cards coming up. Can't wait to talk those. Again, client cards always available after weigh-ins. You can get them over at the website or my link tree. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.